I am considering getting a breast augmentation, but will guys hate how they feel? Can you feel a difference? Does it feel better or worse? Have you always known when a woman has had one? I would love to be able to get one and not have anyone know. Story 1. I don't have any experience with this, but I want to say this. If you are doing it for the guys, don't. Most guys are boobs guys. My girlfriend has a very flat chest. When I'm fit, my chest is larger than hers, and I don't mind at all. In fact, I love it, being able to have her lay on me without any struggle. I love playing with her nipples. I love the feeling of her soft lump, and I love that she is so sensitive in the area. By reading other comments, there's a huge chance you'll lose your natural feel, your sensitivity, and intimate sensuality. Ultimately, do what will make you feel better, but make sure you are doing it for yourself and not for the view of others. Story 2. Well-done breast implants can look great if they're done well. Breast implants feel artificial to the hands. When you touch or grip them, the feel and texture are noticeably different from natural breast tissue, whether they are saline or silicone. The feel is much firmer than natural breast tissue. Yes, you can tell they are artificial when you feel them. When the bra comes off and you feel them, you instantly know they are not natural. People will know you got breast augmentation. When Demi Moore was in striptease, she claimed they were natural. Her breasts were obviously augmented, particularly to those of us who had seen her in About Last Night, 10 years before. Story 3. Hate is too strong a word. I can tell the difference between fake and real, and I strongly prefer real over fake. A well-done operation can be pretty inconspicuous to the untrained eye, but there's a noticeable difference in terms of feel. Story 4. If you are considering getting an augmentation because you feel that guys like bigger breasts, just know that there are those of us who like breasts of any shape or size. Story 5. You're asking the wrong question. Who cares what guys think? You will find a guy who loves them now or your new ones because he'll love you. They're your breasts. You have to live with them. The real question is, will you love them? Do you love what you have now? Do you think bigger breasts will make you feel better and more confident? Story 6. I dislike how a lot of them look, especially if the woman is otherwise quite thin. They don't look like they respond to gravity. There are some that look convincing, but I'd say they're the exception. Feel-wise, everyone can tell. I've been with 2 women who had fake breasts, and they just feel unnaturally firm while real ones are very squishy. Story 7. I echo the other guy who says a well-done job can look great, and the reason for that is a quality surgeon would never recommend implants that are not suitable or proportionate to the woman's frame and existing breast tissue. If she is small-busted and goes for massive implants, not only will they look cartoonish and disproportionate, they'll feel terrible because of the lack of existing breast tissue that is being stretched over the implant that is too large. Ideally, the implant will be a proper size to look proportionate and allow for enough natural tissue to look and feel more, well, natural. Don't go too big. If you have a surgeon who doesn't bat an eye at any size implant regardless of your body type, then find a more reputable surgeon. This is something you don't want to go cheap with. Both of my ex-wives had theirs done right and both were very pleased with their results. Good luck. Story 8. The difference is insanely noticeable, not just in feel but in looks too. Fake feels fake. In a bra or under a shirt it may look good, but in person, naked, it is very obvious. I would love to be able to get one and not have anyone know. Not going to happen. Sorry. Story 9. People will notice if you're off work for a couple of days and suddenly your breasts are cup size or more bigger. This becomes more obvious when naked because even the best surgeries leave some scars. If you're genuinely going to be happier, you should do what's going to make you happier, not what others think is best. Enhanced breasts tend to be perkier, but that can look very unnatural when overdone. It's like many things. If done a little bit, it'll be less noticeable and closer to natural. But then the question is, why bother if it's not making enough of a difference for what you're hoping for? Final point, some men prefer augmented breasts, some prefer natural, and some don't care as long as they have access to them. The core of this is to consider why your first concern about them is whether guys will like them or not. It should be about your happiness with the idea or not. Story 10. Honestly, I can't really articulate the reason, but I've never personally liked fakes. Small, uneven, whatever, natural is the way to go. There are plenty of ways we enhance our looks, and I'm not here to shame that, but I don't know. For me personally, implants are a turnoff. Story 11, total honesty, it's more about the vibe than the type. Some guys might notice, others won't. But if you're feeling good about yourself, that's the real game changer. Confidence is key, and that's what really amplifies the attraction. So you do you and rock what makes you happiest. Story 12, they will be fine. Whoever loves you will love whatever you bring to the table. Do them if it will make you feel good. They do feel different. I had a girlfriend once who got them while we were dating, and while I missed the old ones, I also really liked the new ones. People new to them will like them either way. Story 13. My last girlfriend had really expensive fakes, and they felt awesome. The only way you could tell they were fake was because of the slight scarring, but they looked and felt natural. She was a D or big C. I can't recall. Story 14. Not a man. But as a woman who lost 165 pounds and had hanging skin, I chose implants to correct what I didn't like. Can I, and the boyfriends I've had, tell they aren't real? Yes. But they are still soft and squeezable like real ones and much nicer to look at than tube socks. Do it for yourself, but accept that they will be different and possibly not what you expected. Story 15. I am a woman, but I have fake breasts and I know exactly how my partner feels about them. He is obsessed with them, but they do feel fake. There's just no getting around that fact. Some guys hate it, some guys love it, so you should do it for yourself and not for men and their preferences. But they honestly look amazing, and sometimes they get me more attention than both I and he would like. In clothing, they look like my own but better. When naked, I can see why some guys would think they look a little unusual. If you would like to know more about the procedure, feel free to send me a message. Story 16. Natural everything all the way. Fake anything internal or external is ugly in my opinion. I'd also like to add that you could easily end up hating it, even if you do get them how you want. My ex did this and can't even look in the mirror now. Sad and pitiful, and to be honest, they look horrible. Sure, maybe you could have the money for it, but if it's not crippling you in any long-term way, then I wouldn't risk it. Story 17. There is no way to get breast implants and have them feel real so that no one can tell. However, you can get breast augmentation with fat transfer, which is not an implant at all. They perform liposuction on other areas, process the fat, and then place it into the breasts. You cannot increase more than a cup size with that method, though it is the most natural looking and feeling option. Implants need to be redone every 10 years, so that is like a $10,000 investment you need to redo every decade. Not worth it. Story 18. They rarely look natural when naked. I prefer natural. Not to mention, most guys aren't big on women who want attention drawn to their breasts. It's very stripper-like. Story 19. But will guys dislike how they feel? If a man is in the position to be feeling a woman's breasts, he'll mostly just be happy to be there at all. It's not as though it will spoil everything else going on unless they've been really badly done or overdone. Can you feel a difference? You can, yes. Even if you can't tell just by looking at them, how they feel and how they move changes. Does it feel better or worse? Nothing beats the real thing even when they're smaller. Have you always known when a woman has had one? I've either not been with enough women who had breast implants to know if I'll always be able to tell, or I've not been able to tell. I'd love to be able to get one and not have anyone know. In another post, someone commented about a procedure that involves injecting a combination of fat cells and stem cells, rather than using saline or silicone implants, and how that ends up being much closer to the real thing. I've not heard of it before, but it might be something to check out if you really want them to be indistinguishable. Story 20. Don't do it. Please research breast implant illness and all of the risks that come with implants. It's not talked about nearly enough. I had implants for 10 years, and while they looked phenomenal, they made me very sick, and I will likely have health issues for the rest of my life. Story 21. I'm going to try to say this without sounding like an unpleasant person, but my first impression of any augmentation, such as breast, lip, or buttocks, is a lack of self-confidence, unless it is due to an actual deformity or other medical condition. I know it's not always the case, but that's what first comes to my mind, especially if it's a lot. Plus, in my opinion, it makes you look high maintenance. The older I get, the less physical perfection means to me versus someone who genuinely is a good person. If you find someone who genuinely loves you, all the physical flaws you may see in yourself will not matter in the least. Most of the women I've loved hated something about themselves that I absolutely fell in love with because it was something that made them unique. Maybe I've read too much into this. Maybe this is what the current generation does for fun. But this is my old man rant for the day. May you always be happy, healthy, and prosperous. Story 22. Hey, I'm a 35-year-old member of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee, and let me tell you, at this age, I am so incredibly glad I don't have big boobs or a boob job. Because guess what? These small breasts are staying perky and youthful forever. I'm over here doing a victory lap as my big-breasted sisters start to get saggy and experience back pain. Plus, for real, so many guys are excited about little boobs. Story 23. Well, all natural breasts do not feel the same. There is a wide range of density and movement, but fake breasts still cannot replicate that because ultimately they are contained in a bag, and that bag will only give so much. The shape when you are on your back is most noticeable. Some people hate them, some people love them, and some people are just, oh, boobies. I've had a lot of experience over the past 30-some years, and while I have felt some that felt better than others, I have never not been able to tell. Story 24. Do what you want and get what makes you happy. Who cares what anyone else thinks? If you are aiming for a natural feel, both my ex-partner and my current girlfriend have gummy bear implants, and they feel amazing, honestly. On the flip side, I dated someone who had probably the worst breast augmentation I have ever seen. They were cartoonishly oversized and felt like overinflated balloons filled with concrete. She thought they were great, but they were just strange to handle. Story 25. I've had mine for a while after kids and weight gain and gravity. Hubby says they feel so real now as opposed to 15 years ago where it literally was bolt-ons. Story 26. I have fake breasts. Mine look so real that I literally forget they're not. I also have saline, which supposedly feel less real. Everyone is very shocked if they see them or I tell them. My friends always forget because they look so real. They don't look like bolt-ons, have a tiny bit of normal hang to them, no hardness, and my nipples aren't cross-eyed. I have mine below my muscle, so I just feel my natural breast. Really, they're squishy. I'm reading some people say you always know. I get a kick out of telling people because no one knows. I don't know why, but mine feel exactly like my breast. Probably because I breastfed my kids before, so they were extra squishy. Some I felt or poked were hard or had a coconut look. A W. Oh, and I went from a small B to a good-sized D. Story 27. I echo the sentiment that you should do it for yourself, not for some random person in your mind. I'm all about being natural and being comfortable and confident in your own skin, as I believe we were all wonderfully and uniquely made. But many don't feel this way, so you should focus on being the best version of yourself. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139, verse 14. Story 28. Talk to a medical professional. So much depends on your body size, fatty tissue in and around the breasts, your goal size, how you dress, how you heal, etc. As for romantic partners, if he loves you, he won't care if they're fake, real, huge, or small. Breasts are like women's penises, I guess. Most women worry about them more than most guys. Story 29. I had a girlfriend who had breast surgery while I was with her. She had nothing to complain about before the job, but it was her choice and her mom's money. She had them done too. Although it is worth the view with or without clothes, the play factor is often less. Nothing bounces and feels quite as nice as a handful of real ones. Another side effect may be reduced sensitivity around the nipples, which can drastically impact nipple play. As others here comment, don't do it for the guys. The right one for you won't care. Story 30. You can definitely tell, but that does not mean they feel bad, depending on the type. My significant other redid hers about 3 years back now and did gummy bear breasts. They feel pretty great when it counts. Story 31. It really depends on the size of the implant proportional to the woman and the material, either saline or various types of silicone. Some feel very real while others feel like rubber balls. Story 32. This depends not only on personal preference but also on what kind of breast augmentation you get and how much tissue you have to start with. I have subfacial implants made of silicone that feel pretty natural, but I also had a lot of breast tissue before surgery. I got it to fix pec to breast separation from bodybuilding. If you go under the muscle, they will look and feel more fake. Over the muscle will feel a bit more real but risks capsular contracture, while subfacial will feel a bit more real and reduce the risk of capsular contracture. At the end of the day, if a guy likes you and if you have a well-done boob job, regardless of the type and placement, he will enjoy it. I have known many men who claim to hate fake boobs who have since enjoyed many. I hope this helps. Story 33. Depends on how the augmentation is done. If the implant goes behind your pectoral muscle, the breast feels normal. If the breast goes in front of the pectoral muscle, it generally feels similar but not quite the same. I guess a good analogy is the difference between silicone and skin. If you want it for yourself, for your confidence or whatever, then get it done. If you are thinking of doing it for someone else's benefit, do not do it.